honor of giving back to those who lost their lives for this country, we have the opportunity to attend various Memorial Day services. This morning, Ansley Watson is at the American Legion Post 44 in Marquette to tell us more. Good morning, Ansley.
Vicki, good morning. Well, today is all about honoring those who have fallen while fighting for our country. Now, I'm at the American Legion in Marquette, where we will be talking about a couple of services taking place here in Marquette. However, there are services taking place all across the UP. So if you can go to those, attend one of those, just honor those, and just be a part of those services and those ceremonies, that's a great thing. But we will have more details later in the hour, so stay with us. Reporting live in Marquette, Ansley Watson, TV6 News.
All right, thank you very much, Ansley. Looking forward to hearing more about what's coming up in Marquette today. And as we do this Memorial Day morning, the American Legion Post 44 in Marquette encouraging the Marquette community to help honor the fallen by attending Memorial Day services. This morning, Ansley is telling us more about some of the services in Marquette. Good morning, Ansley.
Good morning, Vicki. It is a beautiful morning outside here. We're standing at the Veterans Memorial at Harlow Park. Tom Ranta is joining me this morning, commander of Post 44 here in Marquette. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So we've been talking all about Memorial Day services. Like I said, there's a couple taking place in Marquette. But before we talk about that, there's something really neat happening here at Harlow Park early this morning. What's going on?
Well, we got a couple things. First of all, the students here have put up pictures, which you'll look at later. But the veterans here, we're going to put up 130 American flags that will honor our veterans here in the community. So they'll go up all around the park right here and all along Washington Street along the sidewalk. So it really decorates this park up.
And if anybody has been to the park, you might have seen these pictures on these tree trunks. What are these pictures?
Well, what they are is there's a couple teachers at the Marquette High School that got involved with the veterans. And what they're doing now is they're having the students interview the veterans to get to know the veterans and learn a little bit about the war.
That's absolutely wonderful. Have you, do you know kind of the impact that these students have had while doing these interviews? Have you heard anything?
No, other than it's very positive. They started this a few years ago and the kids do not want to stop it. So it's very positive. And I think it's a great influence. Like we were talking earlier, I think our youth has to know what the veterans have done to make this world free.
Well, and there is a certain disconnect for those who, the people who've never served don't know what it's like, obviously, and so to hear those stories, it kind of gives that the personal touch that you need to know.
Correct, and it's the veterans that made it free for all of us here in the United States to do what we do, to have that luxury to walk where we want to walk, and to have a beautiful park like this to honor. So yes, without them, we'd be lost.
Talk about the services taking place in Marquette.
Well, we've got two services. At 9:30, we're going to be at Holy Cross service. And then at 10:15, we're going to be right here at Park Cemetery, and we'll go through our normal procedure, about 40 minutes.
What is the normal procedure?
We start with a prayer, naturally, and we have a short speech given, and then we do the normal military rites. We do the gun salute, and we do the taps. And then it's mostly, we have fellowship then after right here at the Legion, where we all get together and we can talk about and remember what Veterans Day is all about.
And what would you like to say about Memorial Day as a whole?
Well, the one thing we want to never forget is those people that sacrificed their life. That's what Memorial Day is all about. And we also, the real thing we got to remember is we got young men and women right in harm's way right now protecting us so we can have these freedoms.
Do you think there's any misconceptions about Memorial Day or just thoughts lost about today?
Well, I think sometimes because they made it a long weekend, Memorial Day used to always be May 30th. That day was picked because there was no wars going on, and this started during the Civil War. So sometimes the misconceptions is it's just a long weekend. No, it's a long weekend that we got to remember for just a brief moment, if nothing else, what our veterans have done.
A thought that was brought up to me this morning I thought was kind of interesting is how people say Happy Memorial Day. It's not necessarily super happy, I guess, though.
Well, it is in some ways because you got to remember what we have. Freedom is not free. It costs a lot of our lives. So it's happy for us to enjoy it, but honor those that gave us that right.
A lot of respect. A lot of respect and honor.
A lot of respect, and that's what it'll always be for us here.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Absolutely. Reporting live in Marquette, Ansley Watson, and we'll be back with more of your TV6 Morning News after the break.